Now that you know how to add your own custom functions to the robot's firmware, I'm going to show you how to expose the function to the web. That is to say that you can make a function that can actually be activated by either visiting a URL specific to your device's function that you created, or you can use our particle.io Explorer tool that we wrote for CODE TACC to make that happen, which makes it a little bit easier than typing in a URL generated for that function. So the first thing is I want to make this robot spin when I activate it over the internet. And to do that, I'm going to go down to my custom functions and actually create a function called spin. I'll copy one of the pre-existing ones and change its name to spin, and I'm going to make it turn left and then wait for 5 seconds as it continues to turn left. So that's the first thing, and I'm going to go ahead and verify it just to make sure that it compiles. And once that's verified, the next thing I need to do is in the setup method, I actually need to expose the function to the web by calling particle.function, and then inside of quotes I'm going to give it a name which will match the actual function name. So the first parameter before the comma is the name as it's going to appear on the web. The second parameter after the comma is the actual function itself. Now you could actually change this to something different if you wanted to, but it's helpful just to keep it as the same name. So now that that works, I'm going to go ahead and flash it to my particle.io device, and your device will go ahead and reboot, and once it reboots and runs the setup method and it comes online, it will be the function spin will be exposed on the web. So now I'll show you how to actually activate the function that you've added. So on our CODE TACC website, you'll see a link in the middle at the bottom to a tool called particle.io Explorer. And this is a web app that allows you to access those exposed functions and later on exposed variables. What I'm going to need to do first is sign into the account that's tied to my robot, to my particle.io photon. Now that I've signed in, you'll notice that it sees that this is the CODE TACC 10 is my robot's name. That's the one that's tied to my account. I see that the device is actually online, and I can look at different things like, for example, what's the status and what's the ID. And you'll notice that I have the function spin right here. And here, if you had additional data to send to the spin function, you could type it in here and it would send it. I don't, but I'm going to go ahead and hit the play button, and that's going to activate the function on my robot. Now, you'll notice that I don't get any response because the robot is spinning for 5 seconds before it finally says spin returned 1. So you might say, well, where does that return 1 come from? And if we go back to the code, you'll notice that in the code, that's the return statement right there. You could use a little bit of decision making, for example, if you needed to test whether or not the function had failure or was reading data, and return different values to the particle.io Explorer webpage. But that's basically how you use the Explorer to call a function that you have exposed to the web.